Okay. You kind of distracted me. All right. She goes, yeah. Little ambience there. Well, guten morning. Welcome to the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am your humble host. Eight Wind is timeless. I am the holder of the infinite ball game that's created by the Hero Twins. I am your galactic daddy-o. Welcome you each and every one to the galactic patio from Minnesota to the universe. Welcome one, welcome all. Drinking some fine sugarite copper cured water. So pop them if you got them. Smoke them if you want them. And tonight our sponsor is Drakkar for the man who has nothing. And we are definitely working with the Hamilton device. Says its name. So greetings the one. Yes, Aggie Pride. Good evening, B Brown. Yeah, this thing it's pretty decent. Key, what's happening? How you doing tonight? Thank you for joining me, everybody. Humid, very humid, beautiful day. Like it's funny, like up here, if the humidity's down when it's in the 80, like 88, 89, not so bad. Hey, Perspective Gaming, what's happening? Thanks for joining me. And so it wasn't bad today. It was actually, I got my walk in. I got a good couple miles in. Shoulder still bothering me, so I haven't picked up the rope work and the lifting weights. So I don't know if you can tell, just picking up this big bowl kind of was a little much, but was able to, what do they say? The show must go on. So So I was able to handle it the best I could. So, um, not a whole lot going on. Uh, I guess if you look at what's going on in the world, it's interesting. Like especially looking at some of the thing in Afghanistan, and what we've noticed, if you watch stories like that in other countries, like it's iffy if people fell off the plane. That's really iffy. But even like today, they showed a lady just beat in the middle of the street, and then a baby, like they beat up the little boy. Like the boy looked like he 5 or 6. So that's, I mean, again, they want to hit you with that. Ah, here it is. That negative aspect of something new coming in. And what we if you're a historian, well, it makes you wonder about that kind of thing there, where they just beat the lady up for whatever reason and then beat her child up. That's a little much. And we know from the past that those things could be made up. But what it really does look like is a replay of what we saw at the end of Vietnam, which Slow Joe said that there wasn't going to be a replay. And that's absolutely what we did see. We saw a replay of the same thing. But this is the difference, though. So if you look at when they were looking to pull out, when they pulled all the American troops out, they kept the mechanics there because that was the biggest thing. And that's going to be the biggest thing of a lot of the stuff they left over there is they ain't going to have the people to fix some of that stuff. So yeah, they initially left some of this stuff, but some of those things left, they don't have people to work on that have the expertise to work on it. We saw the same thing in Vietnam. But like when they sent in a brigade in Vietnam into Cambodia, I think it was, and they got their ass kicked. But they were still able to fight as a force. But they still, even with the American helicopters backing them up, they still wasn't able to defeat. Again, they didn't. They took 7,000 into 30-some thousand. So you're not gonna win. So hey, Sean, thank you for joining. Hey, PJ, my man, what's happening? We in lockdown here in New Zealand because of that. Yeah, now is that true? It was just one person. That's what I heard. There was just one person but broke out and they locked you down for one person passing. So, uh, and it makes me wonder why did they pick Australia and New Zealand to do the first type of lockdowns that they want to do to the rest of the world? And of course, we have to consider. Well, I'll stay on Afghanistan for a minute. And so they still fought, even though they had bad strategy. And you didn't really see them just quitting. They actually got defeated by an army that was more. The North Vietnamese army was a hardened army that had fought. They had fought since with the French, and so they were more of a greater fighting force. And another thing that you have to look in Afghanistan is when them Czechs stopped, them dudes quit fighting. Can you blame them? Who was they going to get paid for? That was the end. So, and we know corruption. That's one of the most corrupt governments. Even they say what the guy got away with $100 and some million. So, and I guess the second part is the New York lockdowns. Is New York saying you can't go into places? Again, you ain't got to go shopping. Now they're gonna do like the movie. What was the movie Bird Box, where you couldn't even come out? Was that it? Or Black Box, where you couldn't even come out your house? They're gonna do that. And then if you got your phone, as a sensor, and the phone shows you got the fever, they just come in there and Fahrenheit 451 you, burn your ass up in the room. Again, having to show the papers is very Nazi-like, National Socialist, very, very much like, very communist-like. But we practiced that almost last summer, the same thing, the long lines, waiting in line, only so many days. This is what I watched them when they did the Berlin Wall, what they were showing in them countries, which was called the Eastern Bloc countries or the USSR. These are the same tactics. And it goes, and it's funny. They must be watching me because they send me information on this same book every month. But this is what them peoples prefer. They prefer communism. Now, they put up with our other system for all this year, but it seems like them peoples have made their move, and they want us under a communist system. And all these, see, this is what people don't understand. is the people that are selling us out, they old folks. They old folks. All these people is rich and old. Look at these people are career politicians in the Senate. That's probably where the most crookedness is. Because you can stay, and I've said this time and time again, they stopped the states from being career politicians, making them do term limits. They never put that upon the senators. And they run longer than the president. So we see that the real power has really always been in the Senate, where most presidents come from. Governors or senators. We ain't had the last military president we had was Eisenhower. And after the Civil War, we had a bunch of military commanders, presidents. Grant, maybe, no, I think Harrison before, was it Harrison that got killed? Whichever one. Garfield got killed, but I think Garfield was even in the Civil War. So these are the people that would sell us out. And they ain't, see, this is the thing. If you kind of dug a little bit of Man in the White High Castle, Man in the High Castle, if you dug a little bit of it, remember, everybody wasn't oppressed. Rich people still ain't going to be oppressed. It's the working class people that's going to be oppressed. These are going to be the oppressed people, the working class people. And they're going to expect you to work still. You just can't do nothing. You ain't going to have no say over your children. Already, they're trying to take that away from you. The mask, the mask is the first battle saying you ain't got no say over your children. Right now, your children in high school can give blood without asking you. What is it? A girl can be 14 and get abortion, ain't got to tell you shit? A girl can be 14 and get an abortion, tell her counselor at school to tell her to put them, the counselors will give her a ride and do all that shit behind your back. James, what's happening? Haha, yeah, Joe did became a ghost. The three locks for week zeros, UTEP. I think that's what? I don't know who you actually put. Three locks for is UTEP plus 9, 17. I don't know. You didn't write something right. Nebraska plus 6 is back. Nebraska just got hit though. They getting investigated. Their football program just got investigated for they caught them doing some of them practices they ain't supposed to be doing. One person who had it at the bar and they fully vaccinated got that variant. That goes to show with the BS. Yeah, Joe just where's Sister Girl at? That's why I saw that picture of the chick like looking behind the broken glass. Where's Sister Girl? Where's she at? Where is she at? Somebody just dinged my phone. There's a second ding on the phone. I left my phone over there. I got locked in here and wired in, and yeah, I left the phone. But yeah, where's Sister Girl? Where's she at? Where's she at? They ain't brought her out once. Wouldn't it help her be a state person if she was involved? You could have sent her somewhere. Yeah, they've ignored her. But see, they ain't trying to make her look bad. That's why she's not around this right now. They don't want her to look as bad as what Joe is looking. Slow Joe. Who is writing me this much? So that's why she ain't out there. They trying to save her in case he kicks the bucket, and they need to put her in. They don't want her being having this bad mark that he has. His approval rating just went way down, and it's like they have done so bad that even CNN can't lie. They can't really lie. But he's Mr. Deflector. He blamed everybody else. He said the dudes didn't want to fight because you said them checks was gonna be canceled. Obviously, when you wasn't gonna pay them no more, why would they fight for you if you ain't paying them no more? And obviously, they were spies in the ranks. So when they came into them towns from the beginning, they was like, look, these motherfuckers leaving. We know y'all going to be here, so we going to quit fucking with them. That's some funny shit. That is some funny shit to me. Now we have more cases coming out. Okay. The original people in Australia may be why it could be too. I think that's a good point. I think here in New Orleans, we're going to have it too. The people from the land, the Aussies treat them like crap. Literally, it's crazy. Actually, Australia Day is actually Invasion Day. Good point. Good point. Marco Brolo. Hey, Marco. Thank you. Peace be back to you. Thank you. That's very kind. Yeah, this is going to be another interesting time. Yeah, I guess. Hey, what's good, Gray? What's happening? Hey, D Still. Hey, strong discernment. So we see these kind of things coming back into our lives again. And the ultimate thing is, how do we survive it? It was interesting. The easiest way I found if you want one of these cards is to put it on your phone. You can get just the template of the card and you can put it on your phone now. They're taking if you got the card on your phone. So that's the easiest way to do it. It's just get the card, copy somebody's card, throw your name on there. But you ain't even got to throw your name on there. First, they ain't even going to be looking. They just going to be looking if you got a card. And if you hold the phone up, you ain't got to have the whatever they call it, the scanning part. You can just have a card. You can have a picture of the card. I caught that today. One of these news people saying they was moving around. That's how they did it. So you can just show the picture of the card. So keep that in mind. NFL starts September 11th. Funny, isn't it? Yeah. And when I heard that earlier, and I forget I got this sugar on me, so I won't rub my face with it. But as I heard this earlier, it reminded me the Sunday that Kennedy was killed, they still had football. It reminded me kind of that when I saw that they started on the 11th. Funny, isn't it? What's up with the booster shot? There you go, D Still. There you go. I mean, we've been telling, and it's up to you if you want to do it or not. That's totally up to you. But I mean, hey, Jesse, Lynn, wellness, timelessness, and wellness. You do you. Thank you for joining me. How is it down there? How's the weather down there? I'm just saying, yeah. But that's James. Just take a picture of somebody's card. That's all you got to do. Take a picture of somebody's card. Now, if it's for work, they're going to look at it a little closer. You might have to do a little bit. But I'm telling you, you can get these gauge of paper at Staples. They sell them little cardboards. It's very not sophisticated. And, you can get a laser printer. It print on both sides at the same time. Do a couple of them. But a guy made a very good point about, this is like, if anybody has children, the children's, it's multi-lines when you have to fill out the children's shots. That's what they did to the adults. Like a guy said, what did you think all them other spaces was going to be for? Thought it was just one or two spaces? No, they planned this out. Well, you're going to have to keep taking that card back. You're going to keep taking that card back. Hey, Barbara, thank you for joining. I'll pass. I'm trying to see how. There you go. You pass respectfully. Respectfully. You pass respectfully. Okay. Yeah, you pass respectfully. That's, it's to each. I'm still in Mexico. The hurricane is out there somewhere. I'm currently in a Playa del Carmen between Cancun and Toma. Wow, very nice. I'm still, and the hurricane is still out there. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I thought it was. In between Carmen and, okay, and Tuluma. Oh, all right. Cancun. Yeah, Cancun. I went to Cancun, seemed like in the 80s. Acapulco, too. I won some trips off some bullshit. Won some trips. People always thought I was joking. ACWE, I feel like Shaq tonight. Okay. Hurricane Grace. Yeah, I saw it was like one was called Floyd. Now this one's called Grace. Did anybody watch the Kobe edition tonight? I got to see like the very beginning, and then I turned it to watch something else. I was like, oh, the Kobe stuff on. So I didn't see any of his hooping stuff at all. I caught the very end after he had passed. So did anybody else check that out? And I still want to know the reason why he changed his number to 24. It's like because they let him off. And I think the amount of money that he got for like he got off for paying that young lady, I think it wasn't that much either. Because she didn't. No, I'm looking to watch it. Yeah, yeah. I saw because it was on ABC and it came on fairly late, maybe 10 o'clock on the East, maybe 10 o'clock, maybe it was that late. But I caught the very end of it. So I caught the beginning and then I forgot I got to watching something else, the Swiss Alps or some old shit. So I don't want to see none of that shit in Europe. I've said that before. Ain't none of that shit in Europe I want to see. I don't want to see the pyramids over there. I don't want to see none of that shit. It ain't nothing in Europe, Africa. I don't want to see none of that shit. The Americas, I've been to Canada, I've been to Mexico, so maybe go down to see the pyramids. But it ain't none of that shit in Europe. That's they shit. I don't care about that shit. So many people like, yeah, well, it gives you better culture and other foods. A lot of them other foods that get you sick. Show the motherfucker eating them goddamn snails and shit. Like, god damn, you had to be some hard up, hungry motherfuckers to be like, well, damn, we hungry and damn, what we gonna do about it? And you see all these snails around and you snatching them up and you boiling them or whatever the fuck they do to cook them motherfuckers. And then you say, well, they're not so bad if we put a little garlic and butter in them. Yeah, I don't get that. That shit don't look good to me. That shit made me think to puke. Shame with the number and the fake rape case for definitely shamey, but just the way they snuck it in there. Like right before I came on, there was a young lady they was showing playing with the New York Liberty played the Seattle Sound, maybe that's their name. Whatever the Seattle team is, and the sister that got 35 tonight, 24. I've been checking out the ruins here in Mexico. All ancient ball fields remind me of you. Oh, indeed. They're all up and down there. They're all up and down there. And what's funny is I've said this before, you have the mosquitoes playing on the grieving ball courts, have them playing like trying to go up and hit it, and it's like, no, this ain't what these is for, buddy. Why are you climbing up this angle to try to knock it in with your butt? That ain't what that's for. That is for the grieve. That is for the grieve. So it's just, even they don't know the science. The furthest I'll go is rabbit. Okay, yeah, I've had frog legs before. I've had rabbit, frog legs. My great grandfather, like even when I'm in my lifetime, when we had Thanksgiving, everything was made from one of the family farms. Everything. Up until when my great grandfather died, everything we had was made from one of the family farms. Because when I was little, we had 4 farms in the family. My great grandfathers, my third, fourth cousins, which would have been my great grandfather and his brother, which would have been my great uncle. They had 2 farms between them, and their farms damn near reached. Hey, Cold of a Marta, what's happening? I want to visit France. Okay, I can feel you. There's a picture of Kobe sitting in a chair with throwing up a triangle, satanic sign, and his wife is next to him looking strange. Hey, Marco, I had some grilled tarantula, tasted like hairy butter. Shit, I'm surprised. Like, we about to have our fair up here, and I'm surprised they don't have that because everything up here is on a stick and shit. They got butter fried on the stick, Snickers on the stick, pork chop on a stick is probably the most famous of them. And then they give you this bucket of cookies. Like, if you like, the shit is like a thing of cookies so big, but just they fill it to the rim with brim. Remember that commercial? And if you had the munchies, you would eat these motherfuckers just standing there, and before you know it, you done ate a pound and a half of cookies. But yeah, they got everything. Someone was making grilled Snickers. Yeah. What they do is they'll how do they do it? They'll fry the Snickers up. They'll fry it. You can get them to fry a Snickers. Yeah, they'll fry a Snickers. Imagine eating snake. I haven't had snake. I've had alligator. Matter of fact, there used to be a Gators here, and so they would give you free, chips, gator chips and shit. So, but you could get, some soft meat. I've had shark. It wasn't very good. Maybe the people cooked it, but it wasn't very good. I've ate calamari a little bit. It's okay. I'd rather have onion rings than that shit, but it's okay. I've had pigeon. No, not pigeon. pheasant. I've had pheasant because I've said this before, and that's why we call our clan Southwest Michigan Pheasant Clan because I'd ask my mother because when I was little, we didn't put a star on the tree. We put pheasant feathers. And like everywhere I went with all the family, we put pheasant feathers over the trees. And so I didn't know about that star stuff. I want to think. How old was I? I don't think growing up we had a star. I don't think I got a star until maybe my first wife. We got stars and put them on the tree. But that was my thing is we always put pheasant feathers on the trees. So rattles taste like chicken with a tang. Okay. There's a show called Legends of Chamberlain Heights, an episode that aired show Kobe. Yeah, I peeped that out. Yep. I peeped that out before. But see, that's how they see, even if looking at that shows you how when you first saw that it had no meaning. And so really, when you saw it in 12, could you really say that it was in 12? Because there are things that will ripple through the past and it will change the past. And so that's what I talked about this before when he first died. Those things had no life. Like even the stuff with the Simpsons that come back up, those things have no life until a different event comes upon. So some say saw some guy eating fire roasted pigeon. Apparently it was delicacy. Oh, cold. Ooh, that's nasty. Possum, not pigeon. Oh yeah. My mother ate possum. My so did my ex-wife, my first ex-wife. She was very she grew up very poor, and if that's all her daddy could shoot, that's what they would eat. They would eat possum. When you first see it, you didn't think right. Exactly. When it first, it had no real life. It didn't mean anything. So when the ripple comes, the ripple really makes it noticeable. So when it first happened, it wasn't really noticeable. So the ripple makes it noticeable. I had shark steak in Delaware, pretty good. I had it in Battle Creek, Michigan. They had a place, and wasn't my full meal. It was like somebody I went with. Well, somebody went with us. He wanted to try it. He had never had it, and I got some of his because he didn't really like it. He acted like he did, but he really didn't. He was letting everybody get some, but it was okay. Simpson predicting Ivanka Trump will be president in 28 and the first female president. Oh, interesting. But I don't know. That sounds a little out there, but it could be. But we'll see. But what happens is these events come and it gives ripples in time. And so future events can affect the past. See, the time is like a wire. I mean, that's the only part I'll give string theory. Time and string theory, because time is more like a string. It can go back, forward, up, down. I mean, people don't realize that. Time can go in directions too. So it's not just a lot of people might make you think that time is just a thing that can go backwards and forwards. Time can go up, time can go down, just like the directions. That's the original cross, is just the cardinal directions. But time can move like that too. It has all those type of movements. So of course you can go back. I mean, it's all running like one. The machine. and I guess one thing I did want to start off is like, I've told this before, so if you watch me on my other channel, you will know what I talk about. And as I said before, when you get really into the quantum of what this reality is, I've said before, well, let me answer this. Nike knew he wanted his own shoe and he was close to leaving. Yeah. Well, his wife stopped the contract. She didn't renew. But anybody watching the old show kind of knows this story that I'm going to tell. But I'm going to tell how this reality, it's not just me, it's the reality. If you understand quantum, again, the only time protons, neutrons move is when you observe them. They have to have observer for them to move. So if you don't observe them, they ain't moving. Pretty much. So that goes into your reality. If you ain't looking at it, they ain't really there. Like if you didn't notice the house and all these years you walked by it, it wasn't really there. And like I gave an example before, but probably the greatest example of, and I guess this could be ghosting in a way too, but how, and I have a little bit of time control, but I've told a story. I was coming out like the hospital, you know how hospitals parking and stuff, and the hospital I go to is at the U, especially to see my specialist. It's at the University of Minnesota. So it's like you can park. Like I got handicap parking, so I can park free anywhere around there, unless I want them to valet my car, and then I'd have to pay. But anything other than that, I wherever I park in the ramp on the street is free for me. But that day I parked on the street, and so I had a good appointment. I'm coming out, I'm feeling good. So when I come out, I'm really just kind of buzzing on how well the appointment went. And I was feeling good, and so there's cars lined up all up and down, all up and down the street. Cars lined up. There's like maybe 30 spots on each side you can park before you'd have to park around the corner into one of the ramps. So I didn't look. I kind of looked and didn't look. And I walked in front of a car and it hit me in my knee. I walked in front of a car and the car struck my knee and it knocked me down. And I remember looking because it broke my leg. And I remember like it was a compound fracture. And I remember looking at my leg. And I remember how it felt. And I remember sitting there. And I was just thinking how stupid because I didn't look. And then the next moment, I'm standing there and I made sure I looked harder. And so that quickly time rewound, and partially me, but partially this reality too. So the next minute, I am standing there and I took an extra look and the car went by me. Now I do have a little bit of time control, but it's this reality too. And that's a little bit of ghosting. One of me did get hurt, not this me. But it just shows you that this reality, well, you can, first of all, anybody I think can do something like that. Now, I can't say if you can go rob a bank and then you can go back to like where you didn't rob the bank. It don't really work like that. But for me, that worked like that. Now, was that a superpower? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. I'm watching, I wish I had my other phone with me. I think it's called Dever's Game, and it's a hunting game, hunting people game. But one part it shows is the superpower that everybody ends up possessing, and it's like the game gives you a type of superpower to protect you from not getting killed. And and that goes to a kind of spiritualness because we each do have our own kind of magic, our own kind of superpower. Goes into that. I know it's low level, but speaking of time, I was just watching a Dragon Ball and they were breaking timelines down. Yeah, Dragon Ball anime, the magic that you see done in anime is very good. And yeah, the airbenders, I mean, they do teach chakras, but the airbenders is pretty good about that too. So do the past still play in another dimension? Well, time is really kind of, as I was saying, if you're looking at like time is basically like this, it's basically like this too. It's still the cardinal directions. And so there's room for every timeline to play. Sometimes they show you this. What was it called? Matthew McConaughey. Remember when he, at the end of that movie, where he tried to go to Mars and got lost? But remember when they was playing in baseball and they had the planet up above, like you could see houses up above. I mean, that's kind of how to show you that, time is like this as well. Time is the same way as the directions. but it's all concurrent. I mean, all the space at the same time is kind of replaying. So but again, it's going to play on something like this. So here and there. So and it's so the past could be up, or the past could be down, or the future's here, but the future could be up too, or the future could be down. So it's not one thing. It's not like it's not just one graph. Like they want to tell you it's just on this kind of string, and it's not. This would be added to. With the possibilities of even the future, like they want you to think that the past is one way and the future is one way. It's not necessarily like that. It's not necessarily like that. The future, you could take steps back again, like what I was just showing you. Me going back to that real spot was kind of, it wasn't really in the past, because for me that didn't get hurt, that was my kind of now. So, I didn't really lose time by having that happen to me. I didn't lose any time. Actually, time expanded a little bit. So not necessarily putting me in the future or really putting me in the past. Because as I stepped there in that moment and I saw the car and stepped back and the car went by, that was my present still. And somewhat ghosting, but also being able to turn it back a little bit. Like I've said before, the first time I realized I had some time of time control, or that time is good to me, because time is good to me too. I'll say that. At times, time is good to me. But I was sitting there looking at this old car and just wasn't paying attention. And there's no way I did not run into the car in front of me. There's no way. I just looked at the car too long. When I changed, I was able to stop, but it's no way. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, okay, thank you, time. Thank you, time. Gave me a little more time to do it. Interstellar, yeah. So Interstellar was trying to show you where the common up of time, the common up or down. So it's not just one way. So it's like you can go backwards. What's considered backwards, you can still be considered forward. And I know that's, I don't want to make that too confusing, but it's not just like time goes this way and just time goes that way. It's more to it than that. It's not just that. That's what they want you to think it is, because they want you to limit you. When you get into this, you got angles, you've got all kind of angles. I mean, it's can get quite complicated. So I don't want to just get over complicated, but all that is in play as well. Just like the Virga, like the way they teach you is it's just a trident. But when you get to messing with this, it's more than just a trident. It's like even through having, because my other one is gone, but even in this configuration, these are in play too. Like these eyes are in play as well. So all this energy is in play. So it's not just the trident-like energy, it's all of this you can use. Now, I remember I talked about that years ago, and I thought I didn't really, it looks a lot clearer on there, but how do I want to say it? So all this can be used, okay? All that can be used too. So Lucid Living, if you want to share that, that's okay. If you're watching Lucid Living TV, if you can share that. If you didn't know all that, you can share that. Yeah, that's so do the past still play in another dimension, to answer your question? Not really. It doesn't go out of 3D. The past don't really go out of 3D. Now, when you say another dimension, you're talking about other dimensions. Now, for some, time has its own dimension. Some consider the fourth dimension the dimension of time. And what's interesting with that is flat plane, that you can now this some people won't understand this, but one thing about flat plane, the flat plane is so, again, it is so much illusional, but the fourth dimension can go into the flat plane as well. And I don't know if I've ever brought that up. So when you're talking about a flat plane, that's when they talk about flat earth, that's what you got to understand. You're talking about a flat plane. You're talking about a flat plane of movie. I mean, you got to start somewhere, and that's where they don't want to start, but you have to start there. However, fourth dimension can join that flat plane. Fourth dimension as being time, because again, ghosting within being a fourth dimensional kind of thing, because again, it affects ours as well. That's like if you even study Flash with the Speed Force. The Speed Force is clearly a fourth dimensional kind of idea. If you're studying that kind of thing. So yeah, it could play out in another dimension, but it would be flat plane dimension compared to round earth, I guess, because they're two separate things. They're two separate things. It ain't one and the same. It's two separate things. Both do exist because again, it's been created so it exists. So a lot of people say we're not in it, not this, but you could blend into it. Not very hard. It wouldn't be hard for you to blend into flat plane. That's why to understand when people bring it up, you've got to like throw everything out to really experience it. Without that, you just disagreeing with them. So, but it's not all the time for this. It really not. They put themselves in it at times, which no doubt. What's the name of the other channel? My other channel, Nepturio Queen, what's happening? Are you talking about Lucid Living TV? My old channel was 8 Wind Eagle, I think. I think that was my old channel. It's not on there anymore. I'm behind a little bit. I was able to stay awake and observe 3 sunrises without looking at the time on my clock once. Wow, that's interesting. Or you might have caught the 2 suns coming up too. Or you could have caught what the 3 suns, which they try to tell you that it's a sun dog. Again, for these phenomenons of this stuff coming down, they got to make names for it and tell you how it ain't what you see. That's what they try to tell you. It ain't what you see. You didn't really see 3 suns. It was curious because one video said you seen your young self saved you, and I think I'm seeing myself in dreams sometime. Yeah, definitely. And that wasn't a dream. That was me. I mean, it was somebody that shook me, and that was me. But yeah, definitely. Another time I had to put myself into when I was little. I think I said this the other day is we lived on a hill, and they thought it was a good idea to put me on a tricycle. I know I turned 3 at that place, so I was between 1 and 3, probably 2, and tricycle started going down the hill, and my mother's foot really didn't catch it, and I had to just adjust her toe because I looked at it again. The first time I looked at it, I was like, oh, I went flying down the hill, so I was like, oh, okay. I did intercede because a lot of times you don't want to intercede on something like that, but yeah, just little push like Flash does. He'll just push a bullet just a little over. It's that kind of deal. So you probably do. So that shit where they say that you can't be in the same place at the same time, that ain't true. Because again, when you want to really know yourself, you line up all yourselves next to each other. I say this about there's a scene where Julia's in a mirrored room, and there's just as far as you can see her in every direction. But for you to do that, you would have to see your other selves. So it's not like they showed it in The Magicians where she's all one age. It's possible to see all yourselves at different stages. And again, you don't want your lower self, you want everybody to stand together. And if you ever have that experience, don't let any of yourselves now be in line with you, because all of it makes it become you. All of it is you. So you have to make sure if you see them out of line, to put them all together. You'd be like, no, you ain't going to be back there and you ain't going to be all up there. We all together. And yourself will be stuck up. Yourself will be stuck up. Be like, I'm not going to be, I know how you motherfuckers are. I'm not going to be like, yo, I'm up here. No, you're not. We all the same. We all the same. So you got to be here with us. So keep that in mind if you ever come into it. Don't let the lower self say, well, I don't deserve it. No. You live this, we live this too. So you up here with us. So remember that. Time is infinite. Again, it is. It's continuous. It's continuous. It ain't a thing that starts. It ain't no start. Like they were saying that, now they are so back. See, this is the thing about their science and people that experience. They're so backed into a corner. Now they admit that there's nothing, that the Big Bang wasn't the beginning. Because again, people would experience and this shit know it ain't the beginning. But there's no beginning and there's really no ending. The illusions can begin and end, but not the natural flow of things. And again, the flow of things, there's an up and down to the flow of things. Just keep that in mind. There's a possibility. It ain't just putting you on a string, because that limits you. There's angles and all that. All that comes into play too. But they want to limit you by telling you it only flows backwards and forwards. Hell no. You gotta, sometime backwards and forwards don't satisfy every situation. So, but yeah, it's very, very possible to meet yourself like that. I thought you had 2 channels currently. I wanted to subscribe. No, they took off my other channel, which now the shit, I guess, I don't know. They still gave me no explanation. Dr. Blair Delbert, run it up. Not sure what that means. Give me a little bit more on it. I thought it was Delbert Blair. And I really don't know a lot of his work. Haven't talked in a while. I can hear my hoarseness coming. So, but just some things to to share if nobody hadn't heard that before. Just wanted to share that part. And so that's a possibility for everybody. And I think what they said on the Umbrella Society is a very good thing about messing with time. What did he say when they did the very last show? He said, quit trying to, go so far back or so far forward. Quit trying that. Control the minutes, moments. Moments is all we have. When it comes down to it, the moments is all we have. And I know I quote Dr. Strange all the time, where the ancient one says, here I've lived all these centuries and here I am trying to steal these last moments. That's what it boils down to. Moments is all we have. And so consider that. Consider those moments and consider, just changing a little bit of the moment. Not trying to change a whole big thing, because it really doesn't happen that way. And if you have those moments, thank time again. Because sometimes time is fair like that. Give you a little more time. I should probably just do a sports channel and then just do another spiritual channel or whatever mood I'm in. Sometimes I just talk sports. Sometimes I just talk crystals, and sometimes I just talk spiritualness. So, and my neck is still really sore sitting here. I've been relaxed, but my neck is sore, but I'll be okay. I'll push through it long as I can. So, and I didn't have a whole lot of other notes. That was the main thing I wanted to get there. I did. I'm not sure where I caught this, but this is a beautiful thing. And like when people say that you chose to be here, it's a thing. It's like, if I didn't want to die, I would not have been born. And I thought that needs to be said. People need to think about that as the choice to come here. You wouldn't have come here and got this now, because you know that the minute you're born, you start to die. I mean, a lot of people may think, yeah, we're born and we start to grow, but you actually start to die. That child and you don't stay there very long. And where's that child that was so big, could sit on your lap and so big? So the moment you were born, you start to die. Like right now is the days left from dying. Like I read some thing that they talking about this drip is going. I'm a baby boomer. I'm 60, so they say that it'll never go away. So even if I live to be 100, another 40 years, they saying it's still going to be around. Of course, they thinking a lot of baby boomers is going to die in the next 10, 15 years. But I know I didn't say this. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I didn't say this. Maybe I did, but so it's funny. It's funny how they try to trick you. And how do I want to say this? It's like my area is protected pretty good. But sometimes, I don't know if you guys ever, anime, probably the only ones I could say to show this. It was like, if you could imagine something evil getting attached to a receipt, like you done bought something and the evil will go into the receipt. So you put the receipt in the bag and you bring it in the house. And so the evil is in the receipt, if you can follow me. So it's like you've got all your protection, but that little receipt, you didn't think nothing about it. And even my protection at the door that slices through ignorance, it got by all that, even when I took it to a room. So sometimes it can get like that. And so I was dreaming, and what was interesting was I was sitting with some people that was giving me some information about the Bible. And through giving me this information about the Bible, it was a man and a woman. And the woman tossed me the Bible. And without even looking at it, because he was talking about it, and I threw it back to her. And when I threw it back to her, it caught her and it made her and the dude explode or disappear. So it was interesting. But it was like, yes, I brought it in myself. But it was funny. They were so surprised when I threw it back at them that I knew what to do. I think they thought it was like, haha, like when you play spades and you slam it down real hard, or you play dominoes and you slam it down real hard. That's kind of what I did with the Bible. They threw the Bible at me. I threw it back at them. They were surprised. So, oh, okay. Tatiana, thank you for joining. Do you think most people are really dying at an early age, like they say? I mean, that's what this is. This thing is about constant death. I mean, like if you look at the world, and not just the United States, but the world births and deaths, it's people constantly being born. It's people constantly dying. Fortunately, more people are being born than dying. That's why this thing that they are talking about is supposed to be so doom and gloom. Even in the United States, it's far more people being born than are dying. And especially if you look in the world, their numbers show to be lies when you look at in the world. So some do, yeah, of course, all different stages pass. So yeah. So some people do. I mean, that was just their path. That they was only here for a few years. So yeah. No, they do. So that's why it's really nothing to be scared of. Like I said a week ago, I'm pretty sure for about a millisecond, I think I was put in the void. I really do. It happened so quick and everything just turned off. But my awareness stayed. But for a millisecond, it felt like I did. I really did. I've had all kind of beyond experiences, but that experience where everything really shut down, and I can't even say, yeah, it shut down. And it was like, so it just made me think how do I want to say this? Gosh. Like this. It's like a lot of people are scared of the black. That's why they say light. And I think people don't understand truly I understand the people's hearts when they say they light workers, but I don't think they truly understand that, like these damn hot ass lights I'm under, white light is blinding. And I know they don't mean it, but people don't, like, they haven't been taught or they haven't experienced anything to understand. And so what I'm saying is you can get absorbed in the dark. And I know in the past I say it is creating light in the dark, but it's more than that. It's becoming part of the dark. And I don't mean in a doom and gloom kind of way. I'm just saying it's like when it's time, that is what you're going to go into. You're going to be absorbed in the total dark, but with your awareness. But everything else, it's funny how quickly everything shuts down. I mean, it really shuts down really quickly. And it's like you're less than like dust almost. I mean, it's really an interesting process again, but everything completely shut down, just awareness, and then it just came back. And I'm not sure. Like I asked my doctor, I was like, "Did I have a seizure? What was that?" And they're like, "Well, we don't really know. We weren't there watching you," but they didn't have an answer. So sometimes they do. D still said, "What's the science of sleepwalking?" I did that before at 4. My mom, remember, I didn't want you. That's kind of a. I wonder. I really wonder, like, when people say they have restless leg syndrome, I wonder how much that's like sleepwalking. My brother sleepwalked. One reason why I like total dark and total quiet is because my brother sleepwalked, and I trained myself to hear him. I literally trained myself to hear him. Like my brother would do funny shit. Like when my brother was really little, and if he watches this again, he'll laugh. But he, like, one time when we shared rooms up until I think 4th grade. When I was in 4th grade, he was probably 3, 4. We was sharing a room, and he gets up, walks to the bathroom. I didn't hear him pee, and just something told me to look up, and I looked up, and he was standing over me, and he was probably about 4, I'm guessing. And I just happened to look up because I didn't hear anything. Like I saw the light come on because I heard the click, but I didn't hear any pee. And so I looked up, and he's standing in front of me, and I jump out the way, and he just pisses all on my pillow. He pisses all on my pillow. And he was about 4, maybe. One time he walks in front of the refrigerator. He opens the refrigerator, and he's about to start peeing in the refrigerator. But the most scary one was because they told me to quit. Like they was like, "Don't wake him up," because they tell you don't wake people up. And so one time, which was the scariest thing, and we had to do a couple measures to make sure it didn't happen again. But one time he walked out the house, but I was with him, and I was like, they told me don't grab him, but I was like, he got up. I heard him get up, so I got up. I walked out. I saw him walking, and like he walked through the dining room, and then he walked to like where the garage to go out to the garage. He walked out to the garage. He walked out the door, went through the garage, went through the door to get into the garage, and he had just grabbed the handle to walk outside. And then I grabbed him. And so we had to put a little little eyelet lock, little eye lock. We had to put one on those on the door afterward. He probably don't even remember that, but we had to put that little lock on there. And yeah, because we had to undo it for school. Well, we always had the front door key too. But yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. But so I don't know. I really can't explain that spiritually what's happening. It's like you're living, like you're physically, like I guess it's like your physical body kind of like meditating sometimes. Like your eyes, like a lot of times when you start meditating, the visions come in so clear, the eyes don't understand why they're not involved. So your eyes, and that's why I started wearing a face mask, or just to cover up my eyes. But your eyes will want to open because what you're experiencing, your eyes are used to giving you that experience. So your eyes will almost try to force themselves open because you are visualizing your eyes don't understand how you're visualizing, so your eyes almost try to force themselves open. So I'm guessing it's partly something like that, as your body can't understand while you're moving around, so your body thinks it has to move around, I'm guessing. She says the science of sleepwalking is in the brain waves, if I'm correct. Yeah, I imagine, yeah. Hey, Lorenzo, what's happening? I think I have those type of episodes. I snap in and out. Okay. My brother used to talk in his sleep, like whole sentences used to trip me out when I was a light sleeper. Okay, D still. I think I talked in my sleep too, not having. The thing about that is that I know is like, how much can I tell of this? Trying to spin it where I don't say names. But one thing that you can do, and I say tread lightly on this too, because it's a way that you could take advantage. And so that's why my hesitation to tell it. But if your spouse or you're with somebody and they start talking in their sleeps, you can actually have conversations with them. Like if they say so much, you can keep it going. And you can talk to a person that's talking in their sleep and have whole conversation with them. I hesitate to say it because I've known people that have used that. How can I make this make sense? They kind of hypnotize the person after they start talking to them. They hypnotize them. Yeah, they hypnotize them. And that's why, even giving this out is kind of tough, because that's possible. You can hypnotize that person. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. You can hypnotize the person that you're talking to like that. So tread lightly. That's all I want to say, because you can mentally, spiritually take advantage of them in that state. So don't do it to benefit from it. If they just want to have a conversation, then let them have a conversation. But don't do it to benefit. That's the best way I'll have to leave it, because there's other scenarios I saw played where people have hypnotized people like that, and they think they're getting these alien conversations and shit, and swear really I listened to both people and I'm like, yeah, you hypnotized that person to get a certain agenda. So tread lightly with that. That's all I want to say, because maybe I even said too much. I don't even know. That's kind of, I don't know. You are not lying. Used to do my brother like that. Okay. There you go. Yep. The brain is amazing. I used to ask who he was talking to. Hey, Liquid Fire, what's happening? I used to ask who you're talking to. Yeah, they'll tell you. They'll tell you who they're talking to. Or they'll tell you who you are. They'll tell you who you are. Like, well, who am I? And they'll give you an answer. Sometimes they'll say you, and sometimes they'll say somebody else. So tread lightly. Tread lightly. That's, because you can hypnotize a person like that. And I haven't seen that used for good. That's all I'll say. I haven't seen that used for good. So tread lightly with that. It's okay to back and forth, but be careful with that kind of thing. I guess this is all I could say. My sister slapped me. My sister slapped her mama in her sleep. My mama woke up about to whoop her, but my sister apologized so quick. Hey. So you slap somebody, you open your eyes like, oh, that's the wrong person. That's a good one. That's a good one. Hey, Crazy Sarge, what's happening? I'm gonna have to give you a call tomorrow. But that would wake you up. Your subconscious was like, that was your mama. You better wake up, because this ass whooping's coming. Something like, hey, that was the wrong one, even in your sleep. It's just like I have fun. Like people talk about, they drive and they can't discipline their children. I've said this before. I would choke them little mugs in the back seat. I definitely could punch behind me, like they say, you got eyes in the back of your head. I had 3 of them, pop, pop, pop. I do them three stooges kind of slap, be driving. And I used to do a thing where I'd like choke yourself. They make them come up to me. I'm like harder, harder. They like, just not hurting them though. But just messing with my boys. I had some hard headed boys. My two youngest ones was extremely hard headed. Better young men than they was little boys. But turned out to be fine young man. Oh, did it? Okay. All right. Yeah, send that to me. Somebody been sending me messages while I'm here. I'm guessing it's my son. One day my dream told me my mom was calling and I awakened with a call. It's crazy. Ooh, that's deep, Tatiana. Yeah, so she was there subliminal too. She was there when you was in the dream screen. She was there too. And I don't care what anybody says. I'll argue all day and all night. We have a screen we dream into, and I'm sure that's where they got TV from. I'm sure. I don't think TV came from no space alien shit. They discovered this realm. I don't know how they discovered it, but where we dream, and we dream into screens. So that that is a way where you do leave your body. When you dream, you definitely leave your body because you project into a screen. So, but that's not, you don't want that to be your only way. That's why, like I was saying, for whatever happened to me, whatever for that few seconds was like, I really wasn't caught off guard. Again, it took me a second to see everything shut down because it was interesting. It shut down almost like a office building shut down. I mean, really, I could feel everything shut down. It was like the toes, the legs, the knees, the stomach. I could just feel everything shut down. And then everything came black. And it was interesting that you got to see all that kind of like lights, the all big office lights. You'll see the fire office light come on and then, so that kind of thing. That was interesting. It's crazy, not even 100 years old. And look how it's changed society. Yeah. Well, again, when I talk about the my, we carry the my constantly with us now. Okay. Yeah, I'll call you when I get up. Right. We carry the my with us. And so the my is one. The my is one. The my has put us with everybody. It's like people don't understand that phones to the my is the same thing as Dr. Xavier, Dr. X. The same thing where he's able to put his mind with everybody. Well, that's how the my does us with phones now. The my wasn't able to do what Xavier's doing, able to see with everybody without having a device, because it's technically a nano device. And so now we carry it. So when you look at Dr. Xavier, when they're showing all these things going on, this is how we are with the phones. It can see everything because almost everybody has phones now. See, before cell phones were just the old phones, it was limited. It didn't see everybody like this. It could see each home because these homes had the phones. And if somebody's on the phone, it's like that. I heard my phone ding, so got your message. So, but now that's how it's able to see what's going on everywhere in real time, is because of these phones. It has made itself smaller and smaller. And as I said before, the doom time to mankind is when bits are going to need all this, when it's going to need all of this, where it ain't going to be no room for air because it's going to need its bits to take up the air. And so that's really the fight for mankind. And we've helped it. We've helped it of killing all the trees. I mean, we've really helped it. Other generations have helped it. I agree. I can sometimes control certain dreams about certain, like I planned my dreams once. Yeah, I mean, you can lucid dream, but that's cool that you could. It's like you can be dreaming, get up, go to the bathroom, come back, and jump right back in the dream. That's lucid dream, but that's cool. That's a little bit more than lucid, but that's cool. That's really cool. Like I think my brother said the best. He said that he dreamt 3 times in a dream. He went into 3 different dreams while dreaming the first dream. So that's a deep thing to be three dreams in. So I first heard people talk in their sleep. I used to answer them, but once I knew what it was, I like let them have a full sleepy conversation. There you go. Hey, John. So what are your thoughts on Zach? Zach is cool. I'm cool with Zach. I really like that as well. Yeah, but yeah, it's the lucid kind of. You said one of your short vids, you make fun of them over there. What did you mean by that? Oh, the 42. That's to me, that's some of the most solid thing that Zach has put out there. That's what I meant. That is the most solid thing to showing how the 42 comes up in the marking. I say out of all the things that he talks about, it is a clear mark on melanated people of the 42. It is a clear marking. Like that's why I showed the short video about the Olympics. You know, like the baseball player. This dude got multiple. Now, this is what I understand about that baseball player. That baseball player had multiple with minors. One girl I think was young as 10 or 11, and he got four. What is it? 2 to 4 years. 2 to 4 years. That's all he got for more than statutory rape, more than once. Being involved with multiple minors, he got, and that's the 24 mark. And so what I meant and what I said is I don't agree with a lot of what they say because it's a divination. I mean, it really is a divination. And so, and I think with the other ciphers, they load up their divination. They load it up because gematria comes under the same divination as pendulums. Now, the pendulum can do three things. It can tell you yes, no, or maybe. Yes, no, or maybe. Now, you can put it, like I have a book, you can put it over to specify. You can use a pendulum to find shit. You can use a pendulum to find where your ley lines on your property are. But again, simple questions, yes, no, or maybe. And so the more you stack your divination, the weaker it's going to become. So if I say that it's four possibilities, it's yes, no, and maybe, maybe, yes, maybe, no, maybe, maybe. I am stacking the odds. I am stacking the odds. I am stacking the divination in my favor. And that's what they do. They stack the odds by saying all these things equal to. And that's not really how it works. That's stacking the deck. I guess that's my point. They stack the deck. So, and it's not the only thing. That's the thing about divination is it helps. But and I am the biggest 42 pointer out I think of anybody. So that's how I use it the most is to show the shaming, because I keep my head in the sports game quite a bit, but just melanated people in general, and there is a pattern. Hell, I found the picture didn't have a year, but the dress seemed like it was 1920s, and this is before Jackie Robinson. And the name of the team was the 42s. Or it was the 24s, I forget. I have to see if I still have that picture. But it was either the 22s or the 24 or the 42s. I want to say, but that was the name of the team. On the front of everybody's jersey, it said 42 on every jersey. And then we know Jackie Robinson has it. And then we just look over it. Too many athletes have that number. And it's the shaming number. So I agree with that. I use that. So I got slapped for smiling in my sleep before. Diana says beyond her. Speaking of that, did you hear about the brother Polite? Yeah. I heard about that. Oh, I need explanation. I like that. Stacking the debt concept. Yeah, I mean that's divination. Like even cards, even using the cards, even using any kind of cards is still a type of divination. I mean, like this, a lot of times I'll give out the crystal energies, but you have to stay within the limit of the cards. You can't just make up some other stuff. It's like these are the possibilities that you're working with. So the possibility that you're working with, you can't just expand it to make it fit your agenda. And that's what I've watched them do, because again, when Zach started his channel, it must have been when his show he does every Wednesday. I was the first or second person on his show, first or second guest. And that was probably 16 or 17 whenever he started that show. So 16, maybe 5, 6, 16 or 17, the summer of 16 or 17. So, had to take a break from he gets very defensive about it when when someone asks questions of him. Yeah, that's why I don't even call in no more, because I don't need to debate him. I don't need to give him more to what to say. I don't need to give him my content. So I don't need to question him. He got his own thing. Zach's made a very good business out of what he's done. I don't knock anybody's hustle. Field of Dreams game was scripted, but how do they fix baseball? Can they script a home run? Absolutely. Absolutely. If you watch that video where the first baseman misses the ball, I watched, okay, the Twins end up winning the other day. I told PJ this. So the Twins have won 3 games in a row with what is his name? Pernacco. I can't think of his name. But he's won 3 walk-off hits in a row. 3 games in a row has been his walk-off hits. They won 8-7 today. He did another one, but they was playing was it the White Sox? Because they won 2 out of 3 from the White Sox, and White Sox is in first place. But anyway, Planaco, I think is his name. So he hits it. So he's a switch hitter. So I can't really remember was he switch which way was he hitting. But he hit one down to the left fielder. The left fielder goes to charge the ball, and just oops, the left fielder misses the ball. And it was like there was no reason for him to miss the ball, but he did, like that video I showed of the first baseman. He breezed right on top of it and went behind it. And so Planaco, I think is his name. So the guy got to, so that might have been the guy got, so the guy scored and they won. The guy scored and they won. No, that was the pitch. That was the player before. So he came in next, and he knocked the player to third. That play where the guy missed the field in the left field. So, and then he came up and he hit one a high fly ball, and because of the air and the dude being on third, he scored, and so he gets credit with the walk off. And then I quit watching it because I was watching the Yankees game too, because the Yankees won. But yeah, they can give up a home run. Chapman came in there, and Chapman faced 5, 6 hitters. One dude hit him like upper deck. What they say was 450 some feet. He hit it. So, and this is the top of the 9th inning with one out. The Yankees is home, and so yeah, they can give. You can throw the ball where a person wants to hit it. I wanted to do a video because I was watching. PJ was saying how much Shannon Sharp and Skip was talking about Tebow, and they showed that Tebow play against the 49ers. And if you look at the play, everybody's up on the line. But there's a young man that's struggling right now, and I believe it's Rondé Barber. My cousin married a barber, so I know most of them dudes. But he says something interesting. All Barber had to do was stay in bounds, and the time runs out. But he runs out of bounds. And we've seen plays like that before. Remember last season, one of them just had to stay out of the end zone. He accidentally falls in the end zone to give the other team more time. Well, Barber did this same thing. All he had to do was fall down in bounds, but he didn't. So, and then if you look at that play against Pittsburgh with Tebow, they put everybody up in the box before the snap. So there's nobody to cover a simple slant. Yeah, that was believable. So yeah, baseball is the easiest one to script. So like, didn't you watch the home run derby? You didn't watch the home run derby? I mean, this is the way the game you watch, like they still do film work, and you see where people want the ball, and then they put it where people want the ball. They'll throw it where you want it, and then what do they call it? A person's sweet spot. Yeah. Crazy ass ex-wife. So looking forward to watch this football season. I'm a Bears fan, so I root for them, rain and shine. Who you looking forward to? Well, I want to see. I'm an Eagles fan. I've been an Eagles fan for the longest. I go back to the AFL, NFL. So my AFL team was the Raiders, and then my NFL team was always the Eagles. So I'm more of an Eagles fan now because the Raiders have been so bad. But now that we'll see how they do. So I kind of always pull for them. I'm a Vikings fan now since I live here. We're going to see the Cleveland game right now. We're just going to one game. Might go see the Rams when they play here too, but Cleveland for sure. We're going to Cleveland in October. So yeah, it's fun. We get blasted, and then we Uber over, like we'll Uber. I'll probably drive to where maybe my ex's house, and then my son will meet me at that is his mom, and we'll probably Uber to the stadium from there. We hit one of them little bars that's right in there. It's not a lot of places to go have drinks and eat. Eat before you go in because it's expensive. I think I've said this before. We went to see the Eagles play 2 seasons ago. We went to have drinks before the game. We must have spent them dudes. The guys we went with, they was in there longer, but we didn't eat breakfast or nothing. But I think I spent $60. So everybody spent at least that much. It was 2 for 1, so maybe I didn't spend quite that much. But we spent together 5 or 6. I bet we spent $200 together. We go into the game, and the tickets was we was sitting in the nosebleeds, but everywhere in there is pretty good seats. But I think the tickets was 90, and the drinks is like 15, $20. Like a beer was like $15. Drinks was like $20. And eating, and then we ate after the game. And I think the football day as a group, I think easily $2,000. I think easily we spent about $2,000 as a group just to go see a game. It was in the hundreds. If that was too much, it was about $1,200, $1,300. But it's somewhere between $2,000, $1,200, and $1,300 as a group we spent. Easy. Yeah, because I knew the parent in front of me, and she had 3 children. So the tickets was that was $500 just for them to get in the game. Was $500. Now, if they had some kind of season deal, it's a little more. But even we was sitting up top, them tickets was all $100. And so it was $500 just for them to sit down. And they sat like we wasn't totally against the wall, but we was a couple in front of it, and they was a couple in front of us. But so yeah, you can spend money. Last week, the Diamondbacks pitcher pitching that no-hitter. He's first ever starter to go and slap the face of baseball fans' intelligence. There you go. Yeah, his first time pitcher. Yeah, that's true. Most don't think it goes that deep. Yeah, well, damn, I wouldn't even have an appetite. Oh yeah. We ate really good when we left. Like I know the bill when we left. Trying to think, I had a couple beers too. Because after the game, because we ate at the game too and everything. I think I got one of them helmets with nachos in it and shit, some shit like that. I forget. But we had dinner, and woo, yeah, that bill was hefty. That bill was hefty. Everybody spent, because it was like the cheapest meal. I even think for burgers it was like damn near $20 for just the burgers. And so yeah, it was more of us. It was like we knew some people when we went in, they saw where we were sitting and they joined us. So it was a hefty bill when we all left. I mean, we all paid our own, of course, but it was that person got a good tip, but we spent a lot of money that day. So but yeah, just think, you got 3 children, you take your children to the game, that's $500 right there. And then to get something to eat, you're going to spend another 100 plus, so you ain't going to sit there without feeding them because, football game is 2-3 hours. So you can't not eat. So, unless you ate before you went and you ate well, but you there for so long, And it's funny, live games that you don't see, like during commercials, they don't do shit but stand on the field. Again, I play college football and understand that, but like when you see live sports and they ain't doing shit, they don't be playing, they just be standing there. And that's kind of a hint where you can kind of run to the bathroom and come back because you can kind of time the TV timeouts because you watch what kind it is. If it's a quick timeout or a regular timeout, it's going to be a minute. It'd be about 4 minutes, 5 minutes sometimes. So, but you see that when you're at a game. On TV, you don't see it. You see the commercials. And this will be the first summer so far I ain't seen the Twins play. So I might have to go. I love afternoon games, baseball. That's one of the most, but even at night, the nighttime games. Downtown Minneapolis is so beautiful and the stadium is open. So I need to make it down there before the season ends. AC over, the technician, what's happening? What's happening? And that's that bad man there. I mean, you've helped me so much. Just like my son, my son, his channel is Community Splash, and he spent like $3,000 on his camera. I think he's got, I don't have my phone here, but he's got, I think, a Canon, but he spent about $3,300 on his camera. But I noticed where he is, because again, where he lives now is the house his mother and I originally bought. Now his mother lives there with her new husband, but it was the house I originally bought with her. So, but anyway, I noticed he hasn't done enough acoustics behind him. So I'm still not hearing him cleanish as it should be, because Michigan houses, now I can't tell where he's at. I know they turned the old garage, Model T garage, into a room, and maybe that's where he's at. But it's a lot of rock, because you can see like under his poster where they sheetrock to a certain point. They put it up to a certain point, and you can see rock underneath. But I can see where you can hear it bouncing off a lot of that, and it makes me think of when I hear that. So, hey, Perspective Gaming. Do you think everyone has their own Matrix simulation or the Matrix program? Do you think everyone has their own Matrix simulation or its Matrix program for everyone as a whole? Well, that's a good question. I have to think about that for a second on how to answer. But it's like I was saying, everybody ain't the same. So, okay, I'll tell you what. Okay, I can put it like this. So everybody ain't the same. So it's easy to move a lot of people, Matrix-like. But there are the Neos out there that move without the Matrix that can see the Matrix moving around them. It's like now they try to make the word woke, which meant people that were still stuck in ignorance. Now that means liberalism, when it didn't used to mean that. It meant that you were stuck in ignorance. Now it means liberalism. But it's like you can't save people. It's like Siova trying to tell somebody that this mic is the best, and then they just not understanding that this is the best equipment. It's like, or just a simple thing like that. It's like, and they just don't get it. It's like he's right, but that person doesn't get it. So that person is stuck in the Matrix kind of thinking, just to give you an example. That's a minor example. So it's almost like people are autopilot almost. Like when you catch people gazing away, it's almost like they're getting some kind of download or something. Like you can see when, like, and I catch my children, I snap them out of, but you see when people just like, they zone out. Like, where do they go when they zone out? And that is very Matrix-like, because they'll just get stuck. Like, notice a person that zones out, they're almost stuck. And so that's kind of Matrix-like. And so it's like you can move outside of that, and you have to catch yourself from that happening to you. I think people have their own spiritual group, like the people who think the same, accord, or soulmate. Oh, yeah, do still. Yep, so they are. Yeah, they are. They are. I've said this between my mother, my brother, and myself. Wherever our energies, we've always been together. I felt that through space-time, our energies have played many different parts, but it seems like our energies always find each other, and our energies have always been together. So I'm experienced that. That's me. I zone out, but not bad. Yeah, start thinking. Yeah. Hey, Jody, thanks for joining. Yeah, catch yourself, because people will start, they go somewhere else, and you got to break them out of that, especially children. Like really stop children, but adults, it's too late. Most adults, it's hard to break them out of that unless you're with them all the time. But it's like you even be out and see people like that, where people are, it's like they're getting download, or where they just zone out and they went somewhere else, and it makes you, that is very Matrix like, because I know now we don't see the long shopping lines, but if you do, I used to catch people like that all the time. Like I would see how many people I could look at just standing there zoning out, you know. And that's the thing of be here now. That's the thing, is that you want to be here now. I don't have a book. I was like thinking, what did I do with that book? But the thing about being here now is breaking you from that. Like even daydreaming, like be here now. I mean, there's a time to daydream, but it's more important to take every advantage of every moment. Again, because the moment is really all you have. I read somewhere that in Midwestern states like Michigan and Minnesota, you can have a basement in your home. Yeah. I mean, basements is the best out of tornadoes. My best basement story isn't even out of Michigan. It's out of Texas. So there was a dude in Texas that they had tornadoes around Texas. And so normally, like even houses in North Carolina, a lot of houses didn't have basements. But up here, if you buy a house, you pretty much are going to have a basement. It's very few houses that you live on a slab. Every house I've owned, we've always had basements. But getting back to my Texas house, this dude in Texas, it took him 8 years to build his house because it took him so long to dig out his basement. But after that 8 years, dug out his basement, built his home, a tornado came through and knocked all the houses out. He got saved by going into his basement. But yeah, we got basements everywhere. Yeah. Basements give you another room. They give you another room. You can put bedrooms down there. It's like having another living room, another bathroom, like bars. Like I had a house where my bar was in the basement. And so that's really cool for basements, is having bars in the basement. Give you a little history. Ohio has like that too. And this is a lot of people might not remember this, but Deco, was it a Deco or Deco? I think Deco was with General Motors, was their supplier of their radios, their tapes was called Deco or a Deco. I can't remember, but they were in Dayton, Ohio. Yeah, Dayton, Ohio. And they showed that because all these people work for Deco, I think that's what the tape recorders were called, or tape players, and radios were called in the 70s and 80s GM cars. But a lot of the families could afford to finish their basement. Well, two things. They could afford instrument lessons, musical lessons, and a lot of times they was in the schools. They used to be in the schools, but these people had finished basements. And so what you got out of that area is you get the funk. You get Roger Troutman, you get Bootsy, you get Sun, you get Slave. I mean, the list of funk, and they attribute it to people having basements, finished basements, and being able to practice in those finished basements. But yeah, basements is cool, real cool. Like Michigan, we used to have, like if you bought an old house, you'd have a thing called Octopus. And Octopus is a converted gas heater that used to be a damn coal heater. This is how cheap people were. Instead of putting a new system in there of gas, they would just convert these old things. And they called it Octopus because it had vents going everywhere. Very inefficient. But even in that kind of basements, you could still have a little living room and everything. So, yeah. Disassociating. Plus, sometimes I want to break out my head and go somewhere. You can do that with a blink too. You can just blink and do that too. People's life is a daydream. I'm learning to stay in the now. Yeah, me too. I have to, because I'm so strong at creating worlds that I have to always constantly tell myself to be here now. Yep. I thought basements was common. I'm from Chicago. Yeah, basements. Yeah, North Carolina. Yeah, the house I had, we didn't have a basement. I had a friend that did, but overall houses down south tend not to have basements. Well, in North Carolina speaking, I only knew one person that had a basement in their house. So yeah, but up here it's pretty common. Michigan too. I didn't live in a house in Michigan where we didn't have a basement. Yep, I never lived. No, I did. We lived in a one slab house. That's right. We did live in one slab house. It was a 2 bedroom small house. And when my boy was 4 or 5, and that one didn't. That was the only time. Okay, good night. Yeah, I'm only gonna go a little longer because my neck is starting to hurt. Yeah, I'm in Texas. We rarely have houses with basements. Always wonder why houses are built that way. Yeah, D still. It's great for tornadoes. It'll save you for tornadoes. Whenever I have a home built, I want a basement in it, but in the area where it floods. But I'm in the area where it floods. Well, you just get a sump pump. You get a sump pump that handles that extra water coming in and it pumps it right out. So you get a look up a sump pump and yeah, that's why I'm looking for a house here with a basement. Yeah, it gives you another room, gives you another complete another room. Rooms. I know people that have put their bedrooms in the basement, built the bath, and it's just their bath, and they have a living room all in their basement. But like before I moved down here in Prior Lake, my house had a bar. I had a bar in my basement, and it was all done, done in. My boys was living down there, but it needed a sump pump. But yeah, this just get look into a sump pump. Yup. Just look into a sump pump, and it'll take care of that flooding because it'll pump the water out. Yep. But just get a big enough sump pump that can handle the water what you anticipate. Yeah, my uncle and his cousins had a band here, and I remember that shit was loud. Yeah, my best friend, he had like 15, 16-year-old brothers and sisters. I was thinking nowadays we in our 60s because both I imagine both his parents have passed, but his brother, whoo, his brother got to be in his mid 70s. His sister too. They got to be all in they. If his brother, I don't know if his brother wasn't my mother's age, but he wasn't much younger. Yeah, but I bring him up because uh, he had a he has a pair of drums, and his parents had the decked out bar and everything, and we'd be down there, he'd be playing the drums and shit. So yeah, so yeah, my parents' basement is furnished where I grew up. I send you pics. Yeah, that's how I grew up too. We had like I rarely like my father was a good pool player, and so he taught me how to play pool. Matter of fact, when I was in third grade, which what is that 7, 8. He bought me a little miniature pool table, but he used to take me to the tables. He set me on the tables, and I learned how to play pool fairly well. And then we moved into this. We moved out of townhouses, and then our townhouse. You can get townhouses here that have basements, like the townhouses. Now these townhouses next to me, they don't, but these townhouses behind me, they all have basements. So they all have a lower level with walkout and a bedroom and a bathroom, separate bathroom. And these are just townhouses right here. So they have basements too. But we had pool tables. We always had like we had one basement was big enough. Like we had the pool table on one side, and then we had a ping pong table on the other. Now they got ping pong tables that you can put on top of pool tables. So true reasons I want a basement is because my cousin's ex-wife, auntie, and uncle had a basement in it. Their basement or downstairs looked like it'd be apartment, and BT Raps City the basement. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Remember Wayne's World? They were supposed to be in their mom's basement. Wayne's World, which was a copy of the characters from Strange Brew. I've said this before. I'm surprised Strange Brew didn't sue them for copying for Wayne's World copying Strange Brew, but uh, my brother and his band practiced in our basement growing up for hours. We had a ping pong table. Yeah, we had like tournaments. Like we got the best people because I played every day, so I got pretty good at ping pong. It's funny. I have to bring my pickleball racket in here. One time, again, when I went to school, junior high, we had a home ec and we had shop class, woodworking class. So we got to learn to work with metals and we got to learn to work with wood. And I made a ping pong paddle that now looks like my pickleball paddle. It wasn't a very trim looking. It looked more like a racquetball paddle, but it's funny now playing pickleball. I look at that rattle. It's like one I made. I'm just not good at cutting that shit out. But yeah, so we played a lot. We had like tournaments where people came in and the adults, and I got so good where I had people backing me. The family would back me. So and playing these grown ass men and them having money over it. So yeah, it got serious. It got real serious. But I played every day. Like if we was out of sports season, that's all we did. If I was out of practice, like after the end of basketball season, because I didn't really like track. So I go home, and as soon as I go home, people would come over, and we'd play until shoot, it was time to go to bed. Damn near. Uh, when you working on music, it has to be loud. It's like I've told these beautiful stories before. My cousin is Michael Narda Walden, and Narda, I can remember when I've told the story before. Is the first time somebody in the family had a remote control when they used to be clickers. It was a big box. It was bigger than this, and it's just like it went. It just what did it do? Back, forward, and it had the volume on there, and then it turned the TV on. But it was a clicker, click, click. But he had came because my cousin came down. She's like, I want you to see this. And she's like, plus Narda's here. So, I smoke a joint, walk down there, and I'm buzzing. He's upstairs just on the ham, and he's just killing it. And, I've got this new toy, She's like, here, like it. Her dad, because their dad was mean, but and I'm just sitting there clicking, and I'm listening to Cuz jamming, and I'm the first time I'm using the remote controls, the clicker. That's why old people call them clickers, because that's what they did, like click, click, click. And I've told that before, even though I think on this channel. You remember those big clickers? Yeah, that's what people call them. Uh, oh, yeah. Get a sump pump. Get a sump pump. It's called a sump pump. And so, but you have to get the right size. So as you look at this, if the place, you have to really look at the amount of water the place must pick up, but just get them or you might have to get somebody to put it in for you, and it'll be in your basement, and it'll carry the water out. But you might have to, because it floods in your area, you might have to get a slightly bigger one than what I'm used to seeing. But yeah, you just get a sump pump, and it pumps all the extra water out, and it comes with a motor and everything. And if water's coming in, it will. The way you have it is you channel the water to the sump pump. So, and normally it ain't that expensive, but the extra water will come in, and that sump pump, but you might have to get it, you might have to get a little bigger. So look at the size on what you expect. But yeah, they're called sump pumps. Yep. So that was a thing. Well, I think I'm gonna cut it off tonight, right now too. My neck is still hurting, my shoulder still. That's why I carry this bowl, and my neck is still a little sore, which I know my neck comes from my shoulder. So, but thank y'all. I really appreciate it. And as I have come into the custom of, I would give a little time walking magic out to everyone, which is Mora. And Mora was kind of a way to bring joy to each other. And it all starts with a gentle sadness. They came from their original homeland. They knew that they had an exact number of years and days before they would disappear off the earth as a culture and a lifestyle. But then the civilization would build to a gentle love. They lived in the Creator's day and knew how to separate cycles in the great serpent. And as the Mayan would say, I am another yourself. This has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. Thank you, everybody, for joining. I appreciate it. And shoulder, I should be on tomorrow. Till we meet again. Thank you.